Yo, what is going on? Matt O'Leary back with episode number 2 of the Jet Report here on a Tuesday, talking to New York Jets football with you. Does it get any better than that? I am extremely happy because number one, we get to talk about some Corey Davis and do some Q&A with you. But for those who care, or even if you don't care, I care, so I'm going to say it. The New York Islanders signed Matthew Barzal to an 8-year extension, so your boy is all kinds of pumped up on a Tuesday. I am excited about that, and I'm excited to get into if Corey Davis is underrated or not. Reminder that super chats jump the line. If you send in a super chat, your question will get jumped up to the front. We'll talk about it. We're going to go through the monologue first, of course, and today what I wanted to get into was Corey Davis and a storyline of whether or not he is being underrated by fans. So I have been at times critical of Corey Davis, and in my opinion, I would say justified at times because he's frustrating. That's a big thing with me is the frustration. Drops are an issue. That's what it is. It's the drops. That to me is the biggest thing with him is drops. Too many times there's been some big key drops, but to his credit, this year, he's been good. He's been really damn good and was a huge factor in the comeback against the Pittsburgh Steelers on the road. He has 261 receiving yards, 2 touchdowns through 4 games. If you were to pace that out over a full season, that is a 1,109 yard and 9 touchdown season. Obviously, the drops are something that frustrate me. He had a bad one in the first game, had a bad one, and a bad penalty in the third game against Cincinnati. So it's like there's a wide spectrum with Corey. I feel like people either love the guy or they can't stand him. Um, I think I'm somewhere in the middle. There's some things that he does that absolutely frustrates me with the drops or the dumb penalties. I think he should be held accountable for those things, and I think he gets a little bit of a pass from this coaching staff. But it's also been kinda clutch, and Zach Wilson trusts him. It's obvious. There was a connection last year before he got hurt, before Zach Wilson got hurt. And the story that I continue to see is just whether or not the Jets should trade him in season. Like, "Oh, you have depth. You have Braxton Berrios. You have Denzel Mims, who they refuse to play. Why not trade Corey Davis and get something back for him?" And to that, I say, "No. God, no. Please, no, don't trade Corey Davis." I think he's been solid, and for the money that he's getting, he's, a number 2 or a number he's getting paid like a number 2, and I think he's probably really a more of a number 3 behind Elijah and Garrett Wilson, but I think he has value. I do. I like Corey Davis, for what he is, a number 2 or 3 option in a passing attack, probably a number 3 in a really good passing attack. But the problem was last year, I think fans set or a portion of the fan base set an unrealistic expectation for Corey. Davis, and what I mean by that is they saw him, get paid for what they saw him get paid, and they said, "Okay, Jets don't have a receiver really at all," and then they drafted Elijah Moore, and Elijah Moore was good for them, but the assumption was Corey Davis is gonna be wide receiver 1, which I don't think was ever fair. I think he's, at his best, a really good number 2 receiver. He's never had 1,000 yards. His best year was, the contract year, go figure, where he had 900, almost had 1,000 yards, and right now he's on pace for an 1,000-yard season. I don't know if he gets there. I think that maybe things come back to the mean a little bit. Maybe they start to get, Uzomah involved a little bit more, and maybe Braxton Berrios some more, but, overall, with Corey Davis, I think it's at least, like, you have to give him some credit. I mean, there's just been way, way, way too much, um, hate towards him, and, I'll hold myself accountable. I think I've been frustrated with him at times, and maybe that's not fair, and I give him a little bit too much grief, but, I don't know. I get in the comments saying my audio's cutting in and out a little bit. I'm gonna do my best to make sure that doesn't happen anymore. I wonder if it's on my end. Someone let me know in the comments if you're watching this live, if the audio is a little bit off. Okay. They're saying the audio is a little bit off in the comments. I'm going to try to remedy this while we're live, so bear with me. But we also have this posted up after the fact, which we submitted the audio only portion to, a couple of different places. We set it to Spotify, we set it to podcast, Odyssey app. So if you're interested in getting this in podcast form, it is available. Um, and yeah, it's just for me, back to Corey for a second. I think he's probably best suited as a number 2 or number 3 option, and I think some fans had unrealistic expectations. And something else too that I wanted to, share with you guys is some of his blocking that he's been able to do. Sorry. I'm trying to pull that up and fix this at the same time, and it's a little frustrating, but we're making the most out of it. His blocking skills, thanks to Ethan Greenberg, you know him, he follows the J or covers the Jets, and here's a couple of plays where he came up really big, as a blocker. First one, he opens up the hole, and then it was also the game-winning touchdown, so we'll watch it together here. Setting up the screen to Braxton Berrios. He's always been a good blocker. And there he is in motion. There's some value there. There's definitely some value there with him as a blocker, and, I think he deserves some of the love. I think fans are too hard on him sometimes. We'll go through the comment section the rest of the way. We're hanging for roughly a half hour, maybe a little bit more if things go well, and, again, apologize for any, potential technical issue if, some of the audio is off. The Jet Show chimes in, says, "Dude, I'm so freaking proud of you for your new journey. Gang green. Thank you very much so. Appreciate the support. We're gonna be doing this Monday to Thursday, at 2 PM. Hopefully, you guys hang out and come along with me for the ride. I'm excited to get after it. I'm excited for this too, and, really appreciate it." Oh, Steven says, "Barzell blows. Let's go Devils." LOL. The Devils will be better this year. We're not gonna turn this too much into hockey talk. Matt O'Leary, NY Hockey, but love it. I would talk to just about anybody about hockey. TJ Decker is here with a comment, says, "Matt, do you think the Jets can limit the Dolphins' offense? Even without Tua, they obviously have a lot of potential offensive pieces." Sure. This is a good question. You have obviously a few guys that you have to worry about with some speed in Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. That's a bit of an issue. While I am concerned with their speed, Mike Gesicki feels like a matchup nightmare. So my hope is that they are able to, and by they, I mean the Jets are figuring out a way to keep him contained because the Jets just seem to never, ever be able to contain a guy like him. Killed him before in the past, and I would hope that this is why you bring in a Jordan Whitehead. and he should hopefully, fix that, but I don't know. I think they should have a good chance. Teddy Bridgewater is obviously not the same as Tua, and I had the numbers here, I'll pull them up in this other one here. The drives with Teddy Bridgewater went like this for them, last week on Thursday Night Football. It was touchdown, punt, punt, field goal, punt, pick, turnover on them. So, obviously, it wasn't that high-powered and potent offense that we saw from McDaniel earlier. Mega Vegan is not on the Corey Davis train. He says he dropped that pass inside the 20 on the last drive, but the refs bailed him out, right? So we obviously are not on that same page. NY Sports Wicker Media, there he is. He says the answer is yes, he's underrated. Mega Vegan. He's getting funny here in the chat. He says, "If the blocking is the criteria, then put McDermott out there as wide receiver." That seems very fair. And shout out to Wicker out here hanging out. Justin chimes in, says, "We have to start our first winning streak in years this Sunday." Yeah, it's been a really long time since the Jets have had a streak, right? Did they win multiple games last year? No, they were very much so sporadic. You had Tennessee in week 4, then it was Cincy week 8, Houston in week 12, and then week 16 against the Jacksonville Jaguars was their 4th and final win. In 2020, they had 2 wins, and they came back to back, actually, in week 15 and 16. So, there you go. The 0-13 Jets beat the Los Angeles Rams and then beat the Cleveland Browns in week 16, so that's the last time. Does anyone know offhand? Let's see if anyone gets it in the comments. Last time the Jets won 3 games in a row was 2019 is your answer, and it was against the New York Giants, Washington, the then Washington Redskins, and the Oakland Raiders. They were 1 and 7 to start the year. They lost to the Dolphins, who I believe were 0 and 8 at the time. Yes, they were 0 and 7. They had their bye week already, which was just embarrassing. And then they would end up going on and beating the Giants, Washington, Oakland, and you had 3 very good Sam Darnold games in a row. For beating Miami, David says you have to stick to the game plan, go through Breece Hall. Yeah, Breece, I thought, had probably his best game so far. He did not have yes, he did have a touchdown. Like, what am I saying? He scored obviously technically the game-winning touchdown. He had his first rushing touchdown, 17 carries, 66 yards. He also had 2 catches for 12 yards. I think he's gonna continue to get this is the first time he had double-digit rushes. I think that continues. I like that they're utilizing him more than Michael Carter now. This is not an anti-Michael Carter take. I like NC-32. I just think that he is more your 1B. So, I'm good with continuing to ride things out with where they are with Breece Hall. Justin's back. He says, "I wanna see them do more blitz packages on early downs, really get some pressure early in the drive. It can be super effective the cornerback, excuse me, play we've had this year." This is interesting because I feel like the Jets have got burned with, anytime that they've blitzed. For instance, against the Cincinnati Bengals, on that big touchdown where Whitehead misses the tackle, that was on a blitz that didn't get home. Against Teddy Bridgewater, this might be a little bit different. Obviously, he's not the same caliber quarterback that Joe Burrow is, so maybe that's a point where you can, say that it might make sense to do it. I think you could potentially force him into making a mistake where Burrow, while I mean, obviously, early on in the year, interceptions were an issue for him, but, it's I'm thinking on this. More blitz packages. I will say You gotta give, I guess, some credit to, Ulbrich, although I'm sure we probably don't wanna do that. The line on the defense was significantly better. John also follows this up with another comment that I think is worthwhile to get into. I haven't noticed Elijah Moore in the slot a lot. I feel like he could be utilized more in the slot routes over the middle. Lots of deep routes on the outside thus far. Thoughts? Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can pull it up, his alignment, and we'll talk about it, but that is definitely something I think worth keeping an eye on because I agree. I think he would be more effective in the slot with Garrett Wilson and Corey Davis on the outside. Um, I think, him getting over the middle of the field would be where he's at his best. Not a bigger body receiver. He's not really a contested catch guy. He's 5'10", bucks 178. I think it's probably, uh, in his best interest or in the Jets' best interest, I guess, really, to line him up in the slot. He is, by the way, in the slot 28.3% of the time. So versus, 70.8 out wide, which he was actually out wide oh, no, I'm sorry, I read that backwards. That was 2021. This year excuse me, my mistake. In 2022, slot 24.5% of the time, out wide 75% of the time. Let me share my screen. Why don't I just do that? Because I'm showing you the wrong window. Hang on. Bear with me, folks. He's a one-man band over here. We're trying to do everything all at once. Let's do this. Bring this back. I'm gonna minimize your comment just so we could all see, and scroll this down, and you'll see the slot. Is my face cutting it now? Yeah, how about this? There we go. Slot, and then also you have out wide, 24% versus 75.5. Interesting. Jets Forever, feed Mims, baby. Jets Forever number 3. Is this a new Jets Forever? Is this a fake Jets Forever? Is there a such thing as a fake? Merc Life, what's going on, man? He says Davis has proved to be the guy when it matters. Yes, the drops have been an issue, but week 2 showed up in the 4th, and he showed up in the 4th again versus Pittsburgh. Fair. I agree 100%. Thank you so much for the comment here. Definitely appreciate it. And I think that you are correct. He was big for this Jets team in the second half. Phenomenal. Luke says, "We are the best cornerback trio in the NFL through 4 games. If our safeties can hold their own and our D line can play like we did in Pittsburgh, this defense is gonna be special." Yeah, that's see that I like the caveat. They have a lot of potential. I don't think they're there yet because I don't trust the safeties to play consistently enough or the linebackers to play consistently enough. CJ Mosley's been okay. You have a lot of people who say that he's been phenomenal, great. You have a lot of other people too who say he stinks, get him off the field. Don't think that's fair. I think he's been fine. Quan Alexander, I loved his play. I think he's aggressive. He plays with high energy. I like that, but the depth beyond there is a little troublesome. I think they're a year away from having a special defense, but I think their defense should take a step up. They're not gonna be 32 in the league anymore. Maybe they're around 20th overall by the time the year's over, and then you can take a next step back. Um, John McCarthy says, "Matt, love the content and your opinions. Thank you very much, but I think you were a little too harsh on Zach for the 4th, especially on the pick. Overthrow, yes, but more so great read by the defender who broke off his man." Interesting. Okay. I okay. I respect that. I don't think he was great, and obviously, what we saw in the 4th quarter was tremendous, and overall, I thought it was a ended up being a okay game for Zach Wilson, and, the second half and specifically the 4th quarter gets you super excited, and that's why, you're gonna point to this game and say that was a good one, but before that, the completion percentage wasn't great. Drops were an issue. There's so many factors, and it goes beyond the box score. You're right, and, I think that's a fair point to bring up, John. David disagrees. He says Zach was absolutely horrible through 3 quarters, so horrible, I don't know if I'd go as far as saying horrible. Um, the first interception, I just don't think that's a ball that needs to be thrown. That'd be my rebuttal to John, and you're right, it was a great play by the defender, that too, but I just don't think that's a ball that, needs to be thrown. RJ, Joyner comeback game, what's that all about? Yeah, LaMarcus Joyner is playing like it's 2017. I don't know that. I don't know how he did that, but I'll take it. Abby Fresh says, "No way Dolphins beat us in Jersey." It'd be nice to split with the Dolphins, right? The Jets have been so bad in the division for so long that it would be pretty nice to get that. Momo, what's up, dude? He says, "Hello, Matt. You rock. Love this channel. Where's Braxton and Uzama? Uzama's been you wanna talk about MIA. That guy has been pretty much only exclusively been used as a blocker. 4 games, he has 1 catch, 5 yards. He's played in 3 games. He obviously missed a game in week 2 against Cleveland, did not play, but 1 catch, 5 yards, and he came against his old team, the Cincinnati Bengals. I'd like to see him more involved. Braxton Berrios probably should be getting more snaps, like, Jeff Smith, I think, is seeing the field too much right now. I think you take away his snaps, give a little bit more to guys like Braxton Berrios, get him on the field. He has, 6 catches for, where are we at? 43 yards. Was very active opening day, was targeted 6 times, but, only 2 targets after week 1, had none against Cleveland, 1 against Cincy, 1 against Pittsburgh. I think he's, right now he's this team's 4th option as a at wide receiver, which is fine. He's a great, great, great value on specials, so you keep him around for that, but I think you can get him involved a little bit more, get some, packages for him. I like, getting him the ball in space. I love this comment from Zachary. He says, "JJ run defense is great." I think we're seeing Jermaine Johnson really come into his own. Against the run, I figured he would be really good, but he's got 2 sacks also in 4 games. He's on pace for, like, 8 sacks, something like that this year, 8.5 sacks. No, I can't do math. Yeah, 8.5, which would be good. 33 completion percentage and 2 picks. LOL, it was bad. This is David saying in terms of talking about, Zach Wilson. Look, there were some moments that were rough. As I mentioned, the first pick I do put on him. The second one, you can't put that on Zach. It hit Tyler Conklin in the hand. With Conklin's another frustrating one. I love the guy. I think he has a ton of potential, but just not great. Jack McKenna chimes in, "Matt, love the channel. Corey Davis needs to make that catch before the first interception." Those are the types of play that needs to be made for your protect, excuse me, a young quarterback coming back from injury. There are some plays, on the field. There are some plays still left on the field, and I think it's fair that you bring that up, Jack. Um, a lot of people feel that way. John Finnegan, super chat. Carter needs to get going. He's been invisible. Michael Carter really struggled this past week. I'm gonna pull it up the numbers. I believe it was he had under 2 yards carry, which it was, yeah, 1.67. 9 rushes, 15 on 15 9 rushes, excuse me, for 15 yards. He was great in week 1, 10 carries, 60 yards, but beyond that, 7 carries for 23 against Cleveland, 11 for 39 against Cincinnati. I think that's why they're transitioning now and getting Breece, excuse me, the ball a little bit more. Abby Fresh is back. It says Sheldon Rankins has been really good. He was rough last year. It's nice to see him bounce back too. I like Parker's comment too. He says, "Is it time to play Johnson over Lawson with Clemens, Huff in rotation more?" I'm not there yet. I would do is I'm not taking snaps away from Carl Lawson. I would move JFM inside more and have, uh, Lawson and Johnson on the field together more with Clemens and Huff as the 2 guys rotating in, because right now Johnson's a rotational guy. He hasn't played a ton of snaps. Let's see his snap count through 4 weeks. Lower than you think, I bet. I'm sorry, is 1.5 Jermaine Johnson has 1.5 sacks, not 2. That's my bad. Snap counts, he's been on the field for 33%. He has to be on the field more than that. Brian says, "Feed mama." That's because Jacob said, "Feed mama." But we know who he means. David said, "Mim should be Jets' best-selling jersey." Definitely a fan favorite. I love it. Momo back with another one on the Jets' offensive line. Will Herbig be starting this week? If Dwayne Brown is not good enough to go, maybe they continue to roll with what their plan was, AVT at left tackle, right tackle being, Connor McDermott, which is a scary, scary, scary sight. But let's take a look at some of these numbers here. Let's see if we can back this up and see where these guys are ranking in terms of their play. So PFF still has Max Mitchell, and they have Vera Tucker listed at guard. So, can we look up Herbig? Can we see how he did last week? Let's do that instead. I'll pull that up for you. We'll go through it together. He was okay, 61.6 grade this year. Let's bring up the numbers. He allowed a hit, 2 hurries, 3 pressures, no sacks. Good pass blocking grade, not the best run blocking grade. I think he's fine as depth. If he like, I think I said it when he was signed. If he's gotta play a game or 2, that's fine. The one that I think you have to be concerned with is Laken Tomlinson so far. Aaron says, "How you feeling in your first full-time week plus a fat dub? Let's go." Things you just love to see. It was a blast covering the game. We had a huge day, and you guys are really into it when the Jets win, man. Let me tell you, this week of content has been a blast to do. Oh my god, David's saying bench Mosley for real. That is crazy talk. You can't do that. Abby Fresh says, "Remember when they said Mims was a steal?" Shaking my head. I was one of those people. I thought he was a first rounder. I was not alone in that, but Zachary says Mike Remmer should start at right tackle if he's up to speed. I would say yes. I like him a lot. Kevin chimes in and says, "What's the status on Brown? Has this been mentioned already?" They're gonna see if he can practice this week. Does Flacco retire after this year? Isaac Boone wants to know. Yeah, why not? I would say probably. Are DJ and Sauce and Carter II the best trio in the league right now? They're certainly playing like it. They look really good. Michael Carter II's been great. Arjun Bowler says the Yankees are 1-0 since Matt has been a full-time content creator. That is also things you just love to see. There was one in here. Where the hell did it go? Oh, here we go. How did the Jets stop Jaceki? That's easier said than done, but I would put Jordan Whitehead on him. Or, I mean, hell, maybe Sauce gets involved too, because they used Sauce on Mark Andrews, which I was surprised about, and they also put him on Pat Freiermuth for a couple snaps at least, so JK says, "My whole family ignores me from 1 to 4 every Sunday unless they win." Probably a smart move. Joe Musa wants to know, should the Jets be worried with Teddy Bridgewater at quarterback? No. Um, Now backup quarterbacks have beaten them in the past, but I don't love to, I don't think that's necessarily something that you have to take a gander at, and be worried about. I'm not. I think he's struggled this past week, and I think the Jets defense should be better than what they were last year. Jets are last on rushing attempts per game, needs to change against Miami, balanced attack, happy Zach. You're not wrong, Merklife. You're definitely not wrong there. I think they will try to run the ball some more this week, as they should. I think it'll do them some well I think it will do them well, excuse me. And I think maybe Breece gets his first 20 rushing attempts today. That'd be nice. He said, "I meant the Jets, not the Yankees." LOL. Oh, interesting one from AJ. "Hey, Matt, do you think Michael Carter II is the best player from the round he was drafted in his class?" Now okay, good question. I can't answer that off the top of my head, so we're gonna do what we do here and pull it up. Let's pull up his draft class. We'll do 2021 draft class, bang, and he was what, the 6th round, I believe, or 5th? Why don't we search? That's the running back, Michael Carter, in the 5th round. Here we go. Better than Jimmy and Sherwood, uh, better than Kenny Gainwell, probably, yeah. Better than Noah Gray, yeah. Hmm. Jason Pinnock is in the same round. It's not off the top of my head, I was gonna say probably not. There's probably another steal in there, but he might be. I'm looking at right now, you have Luke Farrell, Jamie and Sherwood, Brevin Jordan for audio after the fact, I realized this might be tough to listen to. Saquon Graham, Evan McPherson. He was a big reason for why the Cincinnati Bengals went to the Super Bowl, but Michael Carter yeah, you could really make a strong case that Michael Carter is the best player from this round. I don't think that's crazy. Good call, AJ. David says 20 touches for Breece, and they win. Jets 830 wants to know my take on Herbig. I thought he played well. I think he's fine as a spot starter. Oh, no, here comes it's not a live stream unless the porn bots come out. Momo says, "I believe Mike Clemens will be getting more snaps. Happy didn't cause penalties." Yeah, he has not got a ton of snaps. Let's take a guess. If 33% was Jermaine Johnson of defensive snaps, I'm gonna assume Michael Clemens is probably around the same. Let's see, let's go down. 32%. Yep, almost identical, actually. We have time for a couple more. Benjamin says, "How do you believe Reed and Sauce match up on Tyreek and Waddle?" It's a very tough task, but I think they're up for it. They have been really, really good so far through the first 4 games. They both have speed, which helps, and I think Sauce's size is gonna play a difference. He moves extremely well for his size. He's not, your average tall, lanky corner. He also has incredible speed, so I think he'll be fine. AJ wants to know, does Sauce finally get burnt this week by Waddle in man-to-man? I'm gonna say no, it hasn't happened yet. Streak stays alive. How about there? Ray Parker says, "Bryce Huff supremacy." He's been really good. I agree. I don't think he should have been inactive for the first 3 games, and I am glad that he returned and that he played well. Last one, we're gonna go Arjun Baller says, "I wanna see JFM on the inside, allow JJ and Huff to split the outside 60-30 and give Martin 10." Yeah, Martin why is Jacob Martin getting the run that he's been getting? He has been on the field entirely too often for my taste. I would definitely agree. Jermaine Johnson snap count to the moon. Last one, Huff snap count, get it up there. Love it. Thank you for hanging with me on episode 2. We were live for a little over a half hour. It's been a blast. Make sure, as our guy Momo says, before you head out, smash the like button for Big Mad or Big Matt. So that's gonna do it for me. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Matt O'Leary. Talk oh, wait. Oh, at the buzzer. I can't not answer this super chat. Knobcraft, thank you. Before we go, how do you think our defensive line would look with 5 down linemen against Miami? Whoa, going outside the box here? Well, that's the Jets' strength, right? But I don't think you wanna do that because the amount of speed that they're going to have on the field. I don't think that would be wise. I think you're gonna have to have your 3 corners out there who've been really good and hope you get home with the 4. Thanks so much for tuning in, guys. Thanks again for the super chats. You guys are the best. Talk to you tomorrow.